And thank you, Margaret, for inviting me, and thank Tree Reading Series. And it's my honor to be here, and I'm really glad. And I wanted to read several poems involved with trees to dedicate our tree reading session. And these poems will be published in my upcoming book, 7 Nights with the Chinese Zodiac, published by Blackmores in this year. So, first one is titled, Dear Reader. I often imagined writers and readers have a very close relationship. So this is my poem for you, dear reader. You ask, do we believe love? I have waited for seasons. The whole winter snows. I ponder on how to utter yes. I long to walk along your shore, to sparkle as summer's bonfire. I want my eyes meeting yours, my hands holding yours, spreading seas, scooping heaven. My feet becoming yours, my breath exhaling yours. The soil beneath us thaws, the sky above us opens. This is the garden. We are the tree. Roots grow together. Thank you. Another one entitled Within. So after reading A Tree Within by Octavia Paz. Here I see you through the thin glass. The light moves. You move too. I come toward you to pull you out. A bird takes off. Bang! She crashes. I mourn for her. The darkness descends. I lose you, both. Bending down, a feather lands on my palm. I see waves, fish, and starry eyes. The night sky begins to grow dense feathers. It draws a tree within. I catch the shape, the sound, and the sudden rains. Where a pine tree breaks through the rocky hill of your hometown. Where cherry blossoms rest on the path you have come along. I turn off the light. The flames inside glow. The tree moves. I move too. We move. Thank you. And last year, I was invited to read in Ottawa to celebrate Chinese New Year. I read a poem titled My Accent. And it was published by Arc Poetry magazine. Thank you very much. And so I think it's good to read this poem in Ottawa again. So here it is. My accent. It is charming. I assure you. I assure myself. And choose to believe so. Languages have colors. I want to show you my tender blue. But you cut off with fork and knife, quicker than my chopstick taps. My accent grows trees, trails, and winding roads to the West Coast landscape. It points to the open sky, yet clouds are too heavy and form raindrops. My papers collect them, then dry in silence. I have hesitated many times before speaking. Now it develops teeth. Even with gaps between, I decide this is my voice. Thank you. Is my accent charming? Okay, I know Canadians are so polite, sometimes too polite. Anyway, okay. When I do poetry at live events at school, people always, students always ask where your inspiration are from. So, as another poets, the inspiration always from our daily life. So, for example, when my son was 5 years old, he begged for pets, like dogs, cats. But we are very busy, we couldn't. Guess what? Instead, we bought him golden fish. Fish is not a pet. I felt sorry for my son, for the fish, eventually for ourselves. So I wrote a poem, Fish in Our House. You named me once, then forgot. I don't blame you. What's the point of naming a fish? You dutifully feed me. I should thank you, I guess. No matter how cold the water. Now and then, I worry I outlive you. This house is another water tank. You don't have any gills. When night comes, you dream and I dream too. There, I teach you how to swim, how to live empty. Thank you. And several years, these years, we always heard some news and story about the tragedy, about the overdose. I especially feel sorry for the family. So I wrote this poem, Fatality. I offer you fruit. You only take a pomegranate. Cutting it open, I see the bleeding seeds. You take 12, swallow them, the same way your son swallows pills. He goes to the underworld, no messages back and forth. The whole year, you remain like a statue, wearing the rest of the seas. I don't know how to wake you up, how to bridge Hades' gates. We wait for the seeds to dry out, tickling red tears, red rivers. Then snow will cover everything, everything, even this story. Thank you. Okay. Several years ago, last year, I translated Al Morris's poem, and I was very touched by one line. It's, you too are orphans. I feel we poets are all orphans. so I wrote this poem, Late Chance. Late Chance. In our last call, we talked about the weather. Spring is finally here, and I forgave the long winter. I intended not to mention those cold nights. I moon-watered your poems. They flowed into my veins, softening my snow-covered garden. No point to worry you. I remarked that the winter sweet bloomed. I could send you some shoot. We too are orphans. I remember a precious diary given to me for my 18th birthday, so delicate and exquisite. I wrote in it and saved it for you. My best poems haven't arrived. The diary grew out of date and eventually was lost. Our call ended with Mary Oliver's line, poems are ropes to let down for the lost. It's late here. Below my window, night trains come and go. I catch shadows of wings that only soar in dreams. Thank you. Okay, let me see. Okay. So, when I was young, I was taught to hide my feeling. After I'm immigrant here, when I was sad or lost, people suggest go to see a therapist. So, in fact, I didn't go to see therapist. Poetry became my therapist. But I still write a poem about that. So, the whole story. The whole story. I came in to complain. Life is a loaded gun. A watchful eye isn't enough. My therapist nodded and explained. Like any teapot or pressure cooker, we all need holes. She assured me, you have plenty. Your poems are derived from them. But lately, one after another, they ring like cats and dogs. I worry I might die like an empty log, rather than as an explosion. My neighbor nods to me whenever I pass by, yet our eyes never meet. His door always closed. I wonder about his 3 young kids. I walk around and find his air conditioner runs the whole year. My therapist suggests that might be his hole. My boss was single, working hard like a clock. First arrived, the last to leave. Once I brought an extract apple and gave it to him. The next day, the apple remained intact. Only when he went for heart surgery did he remember my apple, but found that heaven isn't a physician. No medicine is posthumous. Now I eat too and work out as well. My 9-year-old nephew loses his ping pong games. His father scolds him. Be a man, don't cry. I recall my brother at the same age, crying harder for his stray cat. I pat my nephew's shoulder and hand him some tissues. But for my brother, this poem and my therapy clinic's card. Thank you. Okay. Now I want to read some poems from my 2 books published by Mosaic Press. And first one I want to read is I was very glad it was chosen for the Poetry in Transit project, and it was displayed on the bus across Canada for a whole year. So the title is Still Life. A painting of fruit hangs on the wall of our living room. Morning sun seldom comes here. Moon offers a drowsy face. Awake at midnight, I find my silhouette drifting on the waiting apples. I mourn for them, no better than the succulents on a kitchen plate. Either they face the knife or wait to decay. I was interviewed by Mishaka News and about this poem. I said I wrote this poem because I want to alarm people to live fully. Don't like the still life hanging on the wall. So anyway, another one, and I always use on my Poetry Alive event because the culture difference sometimes brings the inspiration and the surprise. I read Ted Hughes' Full Moon and Little Frida. I was very amazed by how he described the moon. He described the moon like the artist, lift up a pail of milk. So in China, the Chinese great poet Li Po wrote another 4 poems about moons, very beautiful. But he always socialized with moon as the wine, clear wine. So it's so different. So I said, these 2 poets I loved so much, so I wrote this poem as a tribute to them. So here it is. After reading Ted Hughes' Full Moon and Little Frida, I fall in love with you, moon, seeing you step back like a timid artist. Listening to the night, you come out, a pail lifted. Moon, they're gone. They left you watching over the river. How many years since? And you watch the small village becoming a floating island. Among rows of windows, the night flows, and I'm wide awake. How much I want to imitate Li Po, dancing with his white sleeves, a humming from his burning heart. Night after night, inviting you for drink. The wine never drained, yet he drowned in the silver river. Moon, lift your bucket. Come out once more. I won't make a sound. Thank you. Now I want to read 2 poems about poetry and music. And my friend, guitar teacher Mark Harry, set music for these poems, and usually we perform together. But today I brought the music, so let me see. Okay. So let me. Okay, so let me see. Oh, so what? Okay, I guess the. Oh. I need another hand, I guess. Anyway, let me see. A Chinese nightingale. From this window, it's a patch of sky. Up high, a cloud floating. Beneath its shadow, poplar trees stand tall in rows. Leaves already fallen. Thin branches frame tiny lattices. Inside, cold like an abandoned well. Deep, moldy. Winds blow in and dangle empty webs. By the window, the bird sings his only song. His voice drowned as rustling leaves. I approach, palms baited with golden grains. Come, take some. I cool. He turns. I catch my own shadow. Too heavy to lift. Okay. So another one from Inhaling the Silence, another book. So I need to quickly. So here it is. Okay. My heart is the wind. Early morning, a Shiraz sun breaks through hazes of pinkness. Leaves swell in my teacup, the aroma from home. Near my window, a bird of paradise opens, wings up high in the sunny expanse. Tonight, we will take off. Hearts will unfold under the moonlit crown. Across the ocean, clouds of cherry blossoms are waiting. The warm breezes blow, rains of petals land silently on my now drenched home. Thank you very much.